In the last few years, we've been seeing more and more TV and film adaptations of video games, like for example we've seen Uncharted, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario all hit the big screen, and also The Last of Us do very well on HBO. And so when I heard the news they were making a film about Tetris, I was like, how are they going to make a movie about falling blocks? But then I thought to myself, Hollywood has already made a film about bloody emojis.
You know what would be really fun? A board meeting where we can figure out what to do with you.
Thankfully, Tetris is nothing like that at all, but instead it's a biographical thriller about the race for the licensing agreement for the game Tetris, which took place in 1980s Soviet Russia. And you may be thinking, a film about a licensing agreement, is it really going to be that entertaining? Well, the last one I saw was a film called Air, which was about a shoe, and the reason why that did so well was because it had such strong dialogue, and the same can be said for this film. I think Tetris has a really good balance between comedic and dramatic dialogue. The man at the centre of this story is Dutch game publisher Henk Rogers, who's played by Taron Egerton, a casting choice which has been criticised as whitewashing due to the fact that Rogers is of partial Indonesian descent. However, putting that to one side, Taron Egerton brings what he usually brings to films, and that is an enthusiastic performance, and I think once again he does lead this film very well. The film comes from director John S. Baird, whose most recent work includes Stan and Ollie from 2018, which I thought was a pretty decent little film actually about Laurel and Hardy. But just like that film, Tetris does have a small feel to it, so it's not a surprise it's gone straight to streaming, with it releasing on Apple TV+, and I think with Apple TV+, it is getting better and better as years go on, you know, with things like Coda winning Best Picture last year, and Ted Lasso and Shrinking, and lots of really good original shows. It was seen with things like Netflix where it's sort of going down. I think Apple is on the way up, and especially with them giving away all these like 6 months trials as well. Like, get on board with Apple right now and, you know, have some binges, why not?
Take them. Please.
But anyway, back to the movie, and I think with this film it is one which you can easily get lost in if you're not fully paying attention, so it does demand that from the viewer. With that in mind, I quite liked that between many scenes they used an 8-bit animation to sort of assist with the storytelling. Obviously it has that style of the game, but also it really does give you a bit of a clearer look of things. And it won't come as a surprise that there is quite a lot of techno music in the film as well, and there's also quite a few good covers of popular songs you'll know. Now, Henk Rogers as well as the creator of the game, Alexei Pajitnov, both got to review the script and add their own suggestions, but a lot of what we see in the film is not the truth at all. Like, you know, of course the filmmakers are going to use their creative license to add in a few things here and there, like a car chase for example, but there are some things in there as well which did actually happen, like Henk Rogers suggesting to Nintendo to bundle Tetris with the Game Boy, so you can learn some things here and there, and actually learning about this actually being something which happened, even if it didn't happen to this extent, was still an interesting watch. And you know, like Rogers said in the interview that the filmmakers wanted to create a gloomy and dark feel with the Soviet Russia setting, and they definitely achieved that. I would say that, you know, it did feel like every time we were watching Henk Rogers go into Soviet Russia, he was, you know, one step away from making a wrong move, and it added that tension to it. Having the backdrop be the Cold War alongside this Tetris drama was quite a humorous thing to think about, because it really did get across that this was a real, you know, critical moment in time. You know, a game which has widespread appeal getting this worldwide attention. Another reason why this film was a fun time was because we had such a good mix of supporting characters. Like, we had the creator of the game, Alexei Pajitnov, so we got to see how the game got invented, but we also get all the different legal people involved and the businessmen, like the schemers, the assholes. You know, Toby Jones plays one of them as well, and he's always great. Always good to see what accent he pulls off this time, you know, after playing things like Dobby in the past, and the character as well he plays in Marvel. The film also does go into Henk Rogers and his family, who are Japanese, and so that does give the film that emotional anchor. There are better films out there of this type, no doubt about that, but I think with Tetris, it's a solid film, and one where, you know, in the future, if I think about Tetris, I'll think about the game, but I'll also think about the story, so, you know, fittingly, it has filled in that gap in my mind. So yeah, Tetris was a good, but not a great watch, but one where, you know, I was happy to give my time to it. But let me know your thoughts of Tetris in the comments below. And if you do want to see that review of the film about a shoe, which is called Air, that is on screen right now.